welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and welcome back to another video. We are live tonight. That's right. We're taking live Q&A for anybody out there in the comic book community who have questions about anything comic book related. So we're talking books, we're talking movies, we're talking MCU, we're talking DCEU, we're talking the Sonyverse. Anything you guys want to talk about over the next hour or so, I am here for you guys. So with that said, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you guys are coming to my channel, I appreciate it. What we do on this channel is we talk comic books, we talk prices, we talk what's hot, what's not, what we want to drop, what we want to buy, and of course, you know, everything related to comic book content. So I got my man in the house, Two Brothers Comics. What's going on, bud? He said he's listening to while he's driving. Thank you so much, bud, for tuning in. Really enjoy his channel, guys. If you haven't checked out Two Brothers Comics, they do an awesome job of not just certain things, they do everything comic book related, from hauls to reviews, everything out there. Check out their channel. They do an awesome job. With that said, guys, we're here for Q&A. If anybody's in the chat tonight, anybody out there who wants to talk comic books, I got my GPA open for people who want to know prices. If you guys, I get a lot of questions always on my comments or videos. What do you think about this book? Over this book, what should I buy in between these two books? So I get emails all the time, people asking for advice. So now is the time to kind of pop on. There is no difficult question. You know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid of asking me anything. I will answer anything. Ben Compton, what is up, my man? How you doing? Thanks for joining tonight. Hope everybody's out there is having a good night. I'm on the East Coast, so it's just after 7 p.m. here. Hold on, I'm answering some messages. People are messaging me with how I'm going on, but obviously they're not watching yet. But yes, we're on and we're live and we're talking comics tonight. So I'm going to start by talking about the announcements that just happened over at San Diego Comic-Con until I start getting some questions. I got to be honest, the things I'm most excited about from that announcement was the Daredevil series. Daredevil Born Again, I think, is an awesome title. I think it's what everybody has been asking for as in regards to that character. I think that show on the Netflix series was awesome. And I don't think it's going to be a continuation of that show per se, but I think we're going to get some new things, some old things, and it kind of mesh in between the two. And I think Marvel and Disney will take it in their own direction. What I did love is seeing that throwback to that banana suit on that She-Hulk trailer. That thing was absolutely amazing. He looks phenomenal. It makes me happy that I picked up my Daredevil 1 signed by Charlie Cox maybe about 6 months ago. I am holding on to that book. It's not going anywhere, but super happy to see him in the MCU now. Christopher Jones, you present a great show. Well, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Any love I get from the community out there, I totally am appreciative, considering I am a really small channel and I'm just trying to do my thing and help everybody out in the community. Not everyone out there kind of collects the way I collect, so I totally understand if I'm not for you, but the people out there who do and kind of go along with my mindset and how I add books to my collection and when I sell books, I think it's some great back and forth we get with each other in the community. So with that said, you know, like we're talking MCU and we're talking about what's coming, right? Again, my favorite part was the Daredevil announcement. We didn't get too many other things that we didn't know was coming. We got the Black Panther trailer. And while that was awesome, I thought it gave a great teaser, a first look into Namor. Let me know in the comments, how did you guys like the way he looked? I thought it was okay, but if you look at the actual classic character, there are subtle differences, right? He's got facial hair. In the comics, he has no facial hair. He has no hair anywhere outside of his head, but you know, the suit that he has on, you know, I can deal with that. It's somewhat reminiscent of what he wore in the comics, although it seems to be updated. They've added certain things, but the facial hair kind of gets me because the Submariner has never had facial hair to my knowledge. So that was a little thrown off by that. But other than that, I'm super stoked to see him finally show up in the MCU. And I think eventually that's going to lead to Doctor Doom as well. That is the big payoff, in my opinion, with these movies right now, is that Doctor Doom is definitely, I think, coming. People are saying he's going to show up in the end credit scene of Black Panther 2. I hope that's the case. Even just give me like a little bit of inkling, like Thanos, he's behind the whole thing. However, I don't know how it's going to play out with Kang being the main villain of the next couple of movies. How is Doctor Doom fit in there? I do not know, but either way, I'm excited to find out because Doctor Doom is definitely one of my favorite villains that's non-Spider-Man related. So Matthew writes, as I picked up my ASM 129 because of your guidance. Attaboy, Matt. That is an awesome pickup. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram, I posted, I'm Lawrence _ MCG. There's a big rumor out there that John Bernthal is going to take on the Punisher mantle again in that Daredevil series. There's a huge rumor out there. I think it was, I don't want to look it up, but one of the big boys reported it. It wasn't like a no-name account that reported it. It was a big name, like insider, that reported he's going to reprise his role. And I am super stoked for that because that is one of my favorite books. You guys know that. Gil Kane, John Romita cover. That book is going to skyrocket once we see him in the MCU. I can't wait for that. DZE2 evening. Love the sweatshirt. Thank you. Look, DZE was one of my man out there. He bought a Mighty Comics and Collectibles t-shirt and he actually loved it. Said it was really comfortable, and it was. So, I mean, I always tell you guys, I don't buy crap. Like, this thing is super, super comfortable. I only bought this for me because who the hell's going to wear a big sweatshirt with my face on it? But I thought it was cool, so I picked one up for me. But if there's demand out there, we'll buy a few if you guys want. Who else we got? Hayden says, what actor are you hoping to be for the cast as Doom if and when we get him in the MCU? This is an excellent question, and it's really hard for me to answer. I don't think they should go with someone who's super well known. I kind of would like a not an unknown actor, but somebody who's maybe just coming onto the scene, has done a few TV shows that possibly they think could make the jump into the movies. I don't want something super famous. Like, I don't want like a Tom Cruise, even though I know he wouldn't do that. But like, I don't want a super famous actor doing this. I don't think it's going to be like a Keanu Reeves. I think it's going to be like a mid-level actor who's kind of breaking on the scene right now. For me to throw out a name, I think it's almost impossible. There's so many great choices out there, but I do think that Marvel will get it right. I'm really not worried about who they're going to cast. Ray, what's up, bud? About to go to a few cons with 10 grand budget. Would you go for a mid-grade Hulk 181 and Giant Size X-Men 1, or low-grade Avengers 1 and Daredevil 1? Thank you. Great content always. Ray, that's a great question. So I always say this, Silver Age is better than Bronze Age in my opinion. However, I'm a huge Avengers 1 proponent of that book, but it's not getting the push that it deserves. So right now I'm not going out and buying an Avengers 1 for an incremental increase in price. I definitely think if you can go a Hulk 181, even though there are a lot of them out there, I do think they're worth it. But if you can get a Daredevil 1 right now, they made the announcement. See if it comes in. They're going to shoot up right now. If you can get one for a good price under GPA, I still think that book is worth buying. However, I think the Hulk 181 and the Giant Size X-Men 1, I think they have more longer-term potential at this point because we haven't seen any of those characters in the MCU. And I'm hearing we're not going to get them to 2025 because of contractual rights. They're not allowed to recast those characters to 2025. So I'm not in a rush to buy either one of those books. But if you can get a Daredevil 1 for a good price, I just sold one of my copies. I wish you had told me that because I would have sold it to you. But I think that's still a good buy. Just if it's going up over the next month, hold off because it will come back down because we're not getting any Daredevil stuff till the She-Hulk in a bit. So once he comes out with that, I think it's going to go up a little bit more, especially if he does a really good job, which I do expect him to do. And from what I see, he looks great. So I think it's really going to push that book higher. So just if you can get one under GPA right now, I would do it. But don't chase one. You know what I mean? And the other one, it's up to you. I mean, you can get a mid-grade Daredevil. I just sold my Daredevil 1 4.0 for $4,300. So if you got 10 grand to spend, you could probably get a Daredevil 1, a low-grade Avengers 1. I would say 2.0 or higher if you want to stick to that. And a Giant Size X-Men 1 right now, it has really come down. So, I mean, you can get like a 7.0 for like under $4,000. So you might be able to pick up 3 of these books if you really wanted to spend 10 grand on it. And I always stick to like the lower grades, the Giant Size X-Men 1 and the Hulk 181. I would try to pick up in the higher grades if I could. They don't have to be 9.0s, but if you can stick to like 7.0 or higher on both of them, I would. Or pick up like a mid to low grade Daredevil 1 and you probably do a mid Hulk 181 if you don't want to go that high on the Hulk 181. Great question though, bud. Craig, what's going on, buddy? How are you? Taylor, what up? Thanks for putting out so much content. How do you feel about Star Wars books, specifically canon and the past Padawan 6 and their Heir to the Empire 1? I am not a huge Star Wars fan unless they're original books like from the 70s. So I'm not the guy to ask that stuff for, but I will say that there's a lot of Star Wars fans out there, and every time you get an inkling or some kind of rumor, these modern books skyrocket, but then they come back down. So if you can get into the know before any type of announcement or rumor, that's what I would do. But other than that, I think it's a little bit of a roulette game with those books. So it's really not my area of expertise. I mainly stick to the silver, bronze, copper stuff. But that's still a good question because a lot of people do collect Star Wars stuff. DZ, yes, I got your shirt. Comfortable as heck. Thank you, buddy. I really appreciate it. Howard Stern as Doom. That's what they said. I think it's odd that he said that. He's got to have some kind of lower level character as Doom. He's not playing Doctor Doom unless they're doing some kind of like cartoon that they haven't announced yet, and maybe that's what he's doing. But I can't see him playing that role. Daredevil 1 is definitely still undervalued, but I got to be honest. As soon as She-Hulk rolls and we see him, that book is going to go up even more than it already has, and people are starting to buy that book right now. Ever since they saw that trailer. What's your opinion on the FF48? What's up, Nick? I love that book. It has dropped tremendously right now. It's one of my best picks. If you guys don't know and you guys aren't members of the channel, meaning like you pay the $4.99 a month through YouTube, I give out 4 to 5 comics a month on that thing of books that I think that are undervalued that I'd be buying right now. FF48 was on one of those lists. Definitely a book that has really dropped almost by like 30 to 40%. It's definitely a book I want to pick up. I sold one of my copies to somebody else, and then I picked up another one after that. So I'm definitely on a hunt to find that book again and add another copy to my collection. It's done. I definitely want to pick up. Omega, what's up, bud? Omega kind of told me something that I don't want to tell anybody right now, that he got something, but he hasn't released it yet. So if you guys could put some peer pressure on him, he got something, but he's not telling. Brooklyn State of Mind, attaboy. I just picked up a couple of books for my PC. I think I paid good prices for them. 9.4 Uncanny X-Men 121 and a very low grade 2.5 Tales of Suspense 40. I can't afford 39, so 40 will have to do. What do you think? If you got a good price on that 49, you got on that 40, you know that it's a good deal because it's the second appearance of Iron Man. As long as you didn't overpay for that, because I say if you can get it for a good deal under GPA, then I think it's worth it, especially for a major character like that. Then yes, it's a good deal. But the 9.4 Uncanny 121, I think that's probably a good pickup. If you picked it up under GPA, under last sale, I think it's a good pickup only for the fact that you're going to get these characters down the road. All X-Men books, in my opinion, are worth buying still. There's just going to be such a lull before these characters get here. I think you still be able to get a better deal when we don't hear anything else. So keep that in mind, guys. Where else? Of the pickups. What do you think of the pickups? Listen, like I said, if you got them for good deals, and I think they're quality books, right? Both of them were really good quality books. I would definitely want to own both of them. Do you think DD7 is still goodbye? It's really going up quick, very quick. I just sold my copy as well. I use like the bounces and like the announcements to kind of unload books at times, and then I wait for like all that stuff to die down and they drop in price, and then I go after it. My advice would be to wait a month and see if it's cooled down. Because if you buy anything right now related to Daredevil, it's probably shooting up. Go check out the 90-day average, see what it's at. Go check out the last couple of sales on eBay and see what the price difference is. And if it's still under that 90 by a good amount, I think you're in good shape. If it's at the 90 and you're selling for more than that right now with the last sale or close to it, I'd probably hold off. What do you think about the Easter egg of She-Hulk with Johnny Blaze? You think the Ghost Rider is hell being back for a big surprise? I don't think it's going to happen in the She-Hulk series, unfortunately, but I do think he's coming. I think what's his face said he wanted to play the Ghost Rider. What's his face? The good-looking dude. Forget his name. They were trying to cast him as Nova, but he said he wants to play Johnny Blaze. So something is definitely coming, 100%. And you guys know, if you watch my channel, I've been all over that book. Like, pick up Marvel Spotlight 5, pick up Ghost Rider 1 if you can get a deal on it. But yes, I do think he's coming, just not in the show. I think they're leading us on like they let us on in WandaVision, but he's coming. Ghost Rider would be awesome. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I can't wait. Question for my new podcast: 3 or 5 best titles to collect in general, both for value and content. Titles, easy. ASM, X-Men. I would say Fantastic Four, but it's got to be the original 1 through 100. Anything after 100 went severely downhill, in my opinion. The new stuff, forget about it. ASM, X-Men, 100% on there. If you're into Hulk, I would say Hulk, Punisher. Like, those are mine. I would say Batman, definitely. So if I had to pick 3, it would be ASM, X-Men, and Batman. Those would be my 3. Instead of Agatha Harkness, it should have been Luke Cage 1. You know what? Luke Cage is going to come, and they're going to put him in a human show. Definitely, he's going to come. I have a feeling it's going to be the same actor that played him in that Netflix show, which people actually weren't a fan of, but we'll see what they do with it. First season, I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. What's up, bro? Love the show. Thank you so much, Bryce. I mean, I really appreciate that. Just picked up ASM 5 for $1,000. You think I overspent? You know what the grade is, or was it a raw copy? Could you tell me that? So I'm gonna give you the price for $1,000 on what the grade should be. Let's go by that. But I love ASM 5 because that's the Doctor Doom book, and that's probably one of the better ones to get after Fantastic Four #5. So the less, I would say, if you spend around $1,000, it should be around anywhere between a 2.5 and a 3.0, depending on when you picked it up. So if you think if it's a raw book and it's between a 2.5 and a 3.0, I think you did just fine. Anything less than that, then maybe you spent a little too much. But again, I think you picked the right book to hold on to. So if you did overpay for that, it's going to go up once Doom shows up. I traded a Pacelli second print Ultimate Fallout 9.6 for a 5.0 FF Annual 6 Super Stos, and that is the first appearance of a Nihilist. So that is a book that really hasn't gone up in price that much yet. And I know Very Gary was really specking on that character coming soon, but I don't see it coming, and probably within the next couple of years, at least till they're done with the whole Kang story. And then maybe we'll see something of a Nihilist down the road. But either way, hold on to that book. It's definitely not a bad, pickup down for that down the line. That's a cheap book to buy right now. So that's book I definitely would kind of pick up and kind of put it aside, and we'll wait and see what happens. Will Civ. I don't know what that means, but thank you for tuning in, Craig. I picked up a CGC 3.0 for 1,600 recently. What are we talking about, Nick? Are we talking about Luke Cage? No, I don't think so. Oh, of FF48. I saw the next part of it. All right. I mean, I can go and check the price. I think I just sold my 2.5 for around 1,300 and change, so that might be in line, maybe a little high. But that book has come down so much right now that I think everybody should be snagging that one up, because that's the one, like, Surfer's going to come up. That's one of the characters they're going to use probably sooner rather than later, especially maybe not in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, but the next, outer space movie, he's definitely going to show up 100%. You have to share with the group, Mega, like a girl on prom night cock teasing. Oh, that one might have got me. That one might have got me flagged for saying that. But yeah, I agree with you, bro. Spill the beans, Omega. Will Surfer be coming? Yeah, I think so. Right? He's got. I don't think he's going to come in Guardians. Definitely not. It's got to be a cosmic movie, right? I heard a rumor that in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, they're going to reintroduce a new character, and this is just a rumor, but I'm speculating that it could be Silver Surfer. And if that's the case, that is a huge deal. There you go. He got a huge scale, very cheap. So let's see if he unleashes it. Or maybe I'll have you on the channel, Omega. We could do another live stream and you could kind of unveil it when you have it. Definitely Silver Surfer is a good spec. Gosling was, Ryan Gosling was saying he wanted to play Ghost Rider. He's thin enough. He's in good shape enough. Yeah, I think that would look pretty good if he played him. My 3 pickups using FF48 3.0, 16. I did have a raw 2 to 3 for 1. If you got a DD7 raw for 2 to 3.0 for 150, that is an amazing price, because I sold mine was like a 4.45 for like $500. So that's a good price on that one. Punisher 218 second print CGC 9.8 for 450. Okay, that one's not bad either. But the FF48 is the money book, right? And the DD7 could be. That's a huge gain right there. If you got that for 150, I mean, unless there's something really wrong with it, that's a really great price. I think you did a great job, Nick. Journey into Mystery Strange Tales. So let me say this. All the Journey into Mysteries outside of 83 and 85, there's a couple of smaller appearances, but now that the Thor run is coming to an end, you got to be careful outside of those books. Like 83, 85, the big first appearances. 84 is Jane Foster. To me, that's not a big enough key for me to pick up, but especially we just saw her now. She's in the movie. We don't know when she's going to come back. I think that book's going to take a dip. Venom and She-Hulk, I highly doubt it, but I would love to see that, but no way. 3.5, then you did well, bud. Chris, if you got a 3.5 on that ASM 5, then you did well, because the 3.5 was, I think, almost $1,400 or something like that. So you did a great job. Oh, he's talking about the stuff from Matt. No, I do. Justice League is like right now, I think maybe from story wise, it was great. Daredevil, I'll give you. That was probably great too. But Strange Tales 89. Which one is that? Is that the first Dormammu? Remind me of what that is, or I'll Google it real quick. Strange Tales 89. Or that's not. Oh, is that Fin Fang Foom? Yeah. So it's Fin Fang Foom. There was rumors that dragon at the end was supposed to be Fin Fang Foom. It didn't happen, and that book, probably went down a little bit. I'm not a huge buyer of that book. I don't know if Marvel's going to do anything with that character. Probably not. If it is, it's going to probably like a one small part, and I don't know when it was going to happen. So to me, that's not a spec book right now. Yeah, definitely hold on to it, buddy. That ASM 5 is definitely well. If you got ASM 5 for 900, that is a great job because that book is going to explode if it hasn't already. If you can't get an FF 5, I think that's one of the next books people are going to go to. That and that annual #1 of his origin. That I think people are already flocking to. But the ASM 5, I'd probably rather have that book over the annual. I think you missed your time to dump Avengers 8. When they first announced Kang was coming to the MCU, that book like doubled within a week and then it kept going higher. But once we get like an actual trailer with him in it and you see him, then that's the time, right? Then it's probably going to go up for the next week or two. That's when I probably dump it. Franklin Richards, yeah, Road No Film Company has gone down yet. Feige's going to hit it an all new angle. I eventually it's going to happen. It's just when. So you might be holding on to that book for a long time. That's the thing. Yes, definitely Silver Surfer. I think that's outside of X-Men and outside of Fantastic Four itself. That's probably the character that people are looking forward to the most coming to the MCU. And when it happens, it's going to pay off. Now, when they first announced that Fox merger, that book like literally went nuts. Like we're talking about like a 4.0 going for like $2,700, and now right now you can go out and get like a 4.0 for $1,500. So that's how much the book was going down, almost like a 50% haircut. That's why I'm saying, if I'm anybody, that's the book I'm after right now. Even 49, because I just saw something today saying that after the whole Kang thing, that there's going to Fantastic Four Rise of Galactus. I don't know if that's just a rumor, but I hear what the Fantastic Four is leading to down the road. I agree on a Surfer special as well. That's a rumor. I don't know if it's true. I just got a double cover ASM 251 grade 8.5 inch drawn fence. What would you value it at? Well, let's take a look, right? I got ASM, I got GPA up. I don't know if it's probably not going to list a double cover, but we could take a look. I got it up. 251. Let's go. That's what we're here for tonight. Great questions. Sometimes it's hard to double, get stuff on that because there's not a lot of sales of those. But let's take a look. 8.5. So let's look at a regular 8.5 first. And there's not a lot of them. So the 8.5 itself is not really worth a ton of money. It's probably like around $50. Last sale was in March for $33. But with that said, $100, maybe double cover. Not a ton of money. But people do pay up for stuff like that. You have to find the right collector that's going to buy that stuff. Jim 89 112. Good buys, great covers. What's your opinion on Marvel making Hulk a Joker again? You keep doing this. I know what you mean. You're saying like they're using him as like a goof and not like the true style Hulk. I agree that when they turned Hulk the way they did in Infinity War and whatever, they kind of did him a disservice. But there's a rumor that he's going to come back to the regular Hulk and they're going to have a World War Hulk movie that they haven't announced, or a 4-part series on Disney Plus is what I heard. So I'm hoping that's the case. That they go back to vintage Hulk, because I actually had I went to a sale that I did at Gotham Underground in Ramsey, New Jersey. I was selling some books, and that's all we were talking about is how the great run on Hulk was the 1 through 6, and then 102 to about 113 was the best Hulk you've ever read, in my opinion. That was the best Hulk there was out there. So if you guys can get your hand on those books for cheap, it's a great read. It's classic Hulk. It's to me some of the best out there. But yeah, I agree that they better bring it back to life. 252. All right, so that makes more sense, right? That's the money book. That's the black suit. Double cover on that book. I'm gonna say an 8.5 regular copy. I know off the top of my head, it's probably around $250. Double cover, anywhere I would say from 350 to 500 would be my guess. So definitely that's a book, and I don't know how many double covers there are of that book. So if there is not a lot of copies, the demand may be higher for that. So definitely that's a book I would kind of hold on to. If you want to sell it, what I would do is put it up on eBay for $1,000, even if he takes the bite. What's going on, pal? Jerry, what's going on, man? Do you see that Punisher season 3 is going to be announced at D3? I'm just scared they mess him up within a new woke agenda. No, I don't think that he's going to have his own show. I don't think he's going to come back and have his own show. I think they're going to use him in roles that they can use him in because they can't do traditional Punisher the way they did him in a Netflix show. At least not yet. Dude, that show was my favorite show on Netflix. The way how violent he was, how messed up he was in the head, like that whole jail scene with him and Kingpin was my favorite almost cinematic scene ever, man. He went through like 12 guys, killed them all, and just kind of stood there bloodied, waiting for Wilson Fisk. I absolutely loved it. So they're definitely going to do something, but I do think it'll be more along the lines of cameos, small parts right away, and then they'll probably figure it out later on. They're picking up the 3 Mystique cameo. First full appearance may pay off in the long run. I think eventually, my issue with the Mystique thing is they've already done her in a movie, right? So like twice, might add. So like, how much more push are we going to get? I always thought about that, especially because the appearances, both of them, they're very similar covers. I like the book. I just don't know how much a push we're going to get. We'll see though. Like that's a good thing. It's cheap enough where you can pick it up and not worry about it. And if nothing happens, you could always sell it for what you bought it for. Wow. That's probably, I would say right now, probably 1,700 because it has come down, but that's a great pickup. There you go. I'm saying it's gone up, but like right now it's almost at a 50% haircuts. Venom 3, 9.8, good investment. To me, I'm not a modern guy. I don't pick up modern books. I know that's the first null, right? I think if he stays in the Sonyverse, I don't think the book is going to do anything, just like Carnage didn't do anything. The book went up for like 6 months and then it dropped like a stone. So with that said, I to me, I don't like picking up those books. I'd rather put the money somewhere else for an investment. But unless Marvel gets the rights back, which I don't see happening, I don't think it's a good investment, unfortunately. And that's what everybody says, Immortal Hulk, but I want classic Hulk back. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Hulk, and I'm a huge Hulk guy. Again, it's a book that I don't think is a investment book, but again, any type of hint of Galactus, all these Galactus books are going to go up. So yeah, if you own the book for cheap, especially, hold on to it, wait for that announcement, or wait for any type of hint, and that's when I would unload these things. That is a pickup. So I'm gonna tell you something. Nerdy Girl had I was pissed off at myself when I saw this because she had a copy, a regular copy, 9.8 for like 1,500 like 6 months ago. And I was like, oh, should I pick that up? And the last sale was like 2,100. And I stopped myself for some stupid reason. And now that newsstand's probably, I would say probably worth about $2,000 off the top of my head right now, if not more. Marvel Spotlight 2, Savage Tales 1, a Halloween special supposed to have both Werewolf by Night, Jack Russell, and Man Thing. I love Man Thing. I want to get his first appearance in the Savage Tales, but you can't find it anywhere. Like every time I see it on eBay, it's like ridiculously priced or in too high of a grade that I don't want to spend the money. I love Marvel Spotlight 2. I've owned that book in the past, and I sold it when the rumors were out that he was going to be in the Moon Knight series, and it didn't happen. But I definitely love both those books. I would definitely still buy both those books because eventually, when they do come again, like they'll go up. But I will have to buy them at the right price. All right, so I would say on both of them, get at least 5 O's, if not better. Make sure they present well, but definitely $2. I would definitely wouldn't sleep on. I would get. No, I don't think their first introduction is going to be like an Armor Wars guy. Unfortunately, I just don't see it. But it would be cool. But I think he'll show up like you heard Kevin Feige say about the street level heroes, Daredevil, Spider-Man. I think we're gonna get him in some type of there. Like that's a perfect thing for Kingpin to kind of go in with Spider-Man as well. So like Spider-Man, Punisher, Daredevil. I think Kingpin. They kind of all go together, and that's what I think we're gonna see. I think you could throw the Scorpion in there as well. Maybe they find a way to work him in there as well. Immortal Hulk is great and will be a great horror story, show, or animal movie. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to go there with the Hulk, especially because I don't know how long Mark Ruffalo is going to hang out and do this stuff. Darren, what's going on, buddy? That's when I also got a Hulk 340 Mark Julius grade 8.5. Couldn't find any info. Any ideas? My issue with that Hulk 340 is I think you have to buy it in high grade. And when I say high grade, like I want that book in a 9.8 if I'm going to buy it, maybe 9.6. But it is a Mark Jewelers, and there is a market for that. Let me see if I can find one real quick as for you and see if there's any type of info on a Mark Julius the last time it sold. All right, so here we go. Whole 340. So a regular 8.5, okay? A regular 8.5 is 165 bucks as of July this year. So I'm just trying, like, a newsstand 8.5 was 150 bucks. So not, it's sold less than a regular 8.5, which is crazy. I'm looking to see it. Mark Jewelers 9.0 last sale was December 2021 for 282 bucks. So to me, it's got to be under that because the market has come down. So under 300 bucks. Through the streamline up so we can enjoy. Not tonight, bro. I think it's just gonna be me tonight. Because I only have to about 8:30. So I just want to answer people's questions. We'll definitely do another one. I'm gonna be on vacation next week, but I'm gonna try to get some videos out for you guys on vacation. What would you like to see the Spider-Man movies go in the future? Would you like changing of the guard to Miles? Not yet. I think there's so many more stories to tell of Peter Parker out there. What I would like to see them do is get all the villains, the main villains in to show through Peter Parker. Then at some point they have the multiverse now, bring Miles in, or if he's already exists in this universe, then let him kind of pass the torch at some point, right? Give me like 9 Spider-Man Peter Parkers and then transfer into Miles Morales, and then he can kind of take it and go from there. I want all the OG Spidey stories first. There's so many good ones to tell. A Facebook, Instagram page where your member stocks can do a buy trade page. So elaborate on that. I'm not sure what you mean by member stocks can do a buy trade page. Because there's a lot of guys out there you could do, post books for buy or trade, and then people kind of message you on and say, hey, what do you want to do? What do you want on this? You know, what are you looking for? Punisher versus Tombstone, Kingpin, Jigsaw will be a dope AF in the Marvel U. I love what they did with Jigsaw in that show. I think it'd be a little while before we see him again, but I do think that would be awesome. Punisher, Kingpin is just that scene. I don't know how they're going to top that scene because it was, to me, that was the pinnacle of that show. All right, so this is a great question. How do I feel about Hulk 181 missing coupon? To me, I don't like buying incomplete books. I think they're very hard to sell. With that said, the price of Incredible Hulk 181 has gone up so much that I think that a lot of people can't get to ones that do have the stamp intact. So the next best thing is to get the ones with the missing coupon. To me, I would say this, and this is how I always tell people who kind of like want to try to get bigger books. Every time you see a book you want to buy, take that money and say, well, it's $100. I'm going to put that $100 on the side. All right. It's another book I see $50 next week or whenever that time is. I don't want to, I'm saving, or put that $50 on the side. Keep going until you can get the book you want. Eventually, these books are going to come down. I know you could still get like a 4.0 probably for around 3,500, 3,000. So it's a lot of money. I'm not saying it's not, but I do think buying complete will give you a better chance of selling the book down the road. And that's the most important thing. If you have to unload the book, you have to make it easy on yourself. And I don't think it's easy to sell books with missing pieces. There you go. Do we ever buy, sell, or trade on the CGC boards, a great spot for keys, etc.? I don't use the CGC boards, and that has to do with like years ago. There was a lot of stuff going on in them. I'm talking years ago. Like I've been on CGC for when I got out of college. It was like 2002 around that time. So I'd been on there for a long time, and there was just so much stuff going on. People talking so much smack. I'm like, you know what? This is not the spot for me, and I kind of never went back. But I think that's just like Instagram now. Like, you know what? People post so much stuff on Instagram that it's like you can get so many good deals just from following people. Everybody has stuff for sale. I mean, I sell stuff on Instagram all the time. I post stuff, hey, this book's for sale. I had somebody the other day message me about an Avengers 8. I sold that book like a year ago, but he's like, oh, do you still have it? I'm like, no, that's long gone. So it's stuff like that, like if you post stuff on Instagram, it's always there. And I get the CGC boards are always there as well, but then you have to search and you have to do whatever. I prefer Instagram. There's Facebook Marketplace as well. There's groups that if you're comfortable doing that stuff, you got to be careful because there are scammers out there. So you know what I mean, guys? But I think Instagram's a great spot. Now you have all the IG live sales as well. It's just an awesome place. Like if you're on there and you've been on there for a while, and I've been on there since 2020 before, or 2019 when COVID hit, like that's when it all started with the IG, and then people started doing live sales, and it's like, wow, you can get books shipped straight to your home. You don't have to go to cons. You don't have to get up. You don't have to get off the couch. And I think that was a great idea. It's like it revolutionized buying comics. And now you see dealers do it. A lot of dealers have their own live streams. They do Elite Comics 11 has some dealers on. He has some, collectors on that sell their own collection as well. I actually thought about doing that. and contacting Ali to sell some stuff off, but I don't have a lot of books. Like you guys see what I have here. Like those are all my CGC books, except for maybe like another 8 that are in a short box. And I have 4 short boxes worth of regular comics. And literally a short box and a half is my ASM run, which is not for sale. So we're talking about, another 2.5 short boxes of stuff that is for sale that I wouldn't mind getting rid of at this point. But that's it. Like everything else is, you know, that's just my collection is what you say. I don't have a ton of books. I don't collect a lot of new books either. So every now and then I'll buy a new book, and maybe it's because something I want to read, or I wish the Amazing Spider-Man run was better in, right now in the modern, because I would buy that and I would read it. But some of the characters that I followed, the runs aren't good anymore. I have a few slabs, but I like my books raw. I'm with you, man. Like you see a lot of slabs, but what you guys don't see most of the time is that I have a giant raw wall, and they're all my raw keys as well. So I have a lot of Amazing Spider-Man books raw. I have a Silver Surfer #4. Obviously, anybody who watches my channel knows I just got a Tales of Suspense 39 raw, but a ton of stuff I keep raw. Do you ever buy, sell, or trade? Oh, you asked me that already. I'm sorry. So yeah, I mean, that's really what I do. If anybody had to put my, hand to the fire right now and ask me if there were 5 books that I wanted to add to my collection right now, what would they be? Because I think that's a great question, especially in the market. FF48 would be one of them, because that book is it's taken such a huge haircut that it's like into like major correction territory where I don't know if it can go any lower. So, and with a character on the horizon, which makes no sense to me, right? The only thing I can say is that book went so far in such a short period of time that it was like, all right, we got to kind of, sell some and get drop the price. But now it's to the point where it's really undervalued again. So that would be one of them. Oh, that's a tough one. Amazing Spider-Man #129. I think again another book that it's just fallen a little bit. It hasn't fallen that much, to be honest with you. But I always say on the Bronze Age keys, 5.0 or higher. The higher the better, but 5.0 or higher if you can. If the book really presents well, like 4.0 is okay, but it has to really present well. That would be another one. Marvel Spotlight 5. I'm on the bandwagon, right? What's the theme? The theme is characters we haven't gotten yet, but are big time books, big time keys. FF48, ASM 129, Marvel Spotlight 5. Hulk 181 is an interesting one. I definitely want to go out there and get the book. My issue is there's just so many freaking copies of that book. And if you look on eBay, if you look on Instagram, you look whatever, there are so many copies for sale. I understand he's a very popular character, but it's obscene how many copies there are right now for sale. It's crazy. So, I mean, is the price justified? Yes, but how much further is it going to go unless there's like it's a super high grade or whatever? I mean, yes, he's going to come, the book's going to go up, but where's the cap? With that many copies available, what's the cap? It's not like a ASM, 1 or Amazing Fantasy 15 where there's limited copies out there. There's a video comment that I'm doing next week about the scarcest Silver Age grails. Watch that video because it tells you how many copies of each of these books are out there, and it's mind-boggling how few there really are. We go compared to like a Hulk 181, there are so many more out there, and the price is just like if I can go out getting Journey into Mystery #83 at let's say a 2.0 for like 10 grand, and I can get a Hulk 181 probably like a 9.0 for 10 grand. I mean, that's tough, right? I think the Wolverine is the more popular character, but the scarcity is a Journey to Mystery 83, and they're the same price. So what's more important to you, scarcity or popularity? That's the issue. To me, I think it's scarcity. That's just my opinion, but everybody loves Wolverines, and I do too, but that's just my opinion. What's going on, Ken? How you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us. My shop has 829. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, dude. I mean, to me, it's one of the best books you can go get out there right now. Yellow cover, ASM book, major character that's going to come to the MCU. It's got everything checkmarked, all the check marks we're looking for. Another Sergio Aragonis fan in the chat. There you go. What indies #1 do you feel should be bought at this time? That's too hard for me to answer. Indies are almost impossible unless you kind of get some type of information ahead of time, like something's going to be optioned. And even then, it doesn't always happen. Like what got optioned? And the bone book was got optioned, and then they just canceled it. Like nothing happened. So that book shut up, and I get it. It's ultra rare anyway, so the book is always going to be pricey. But it's done. It's not going to be made. So what now? Another thing was that Usagi Yojimbo, they had a Netflix show on it. Didn't do anything. I heard it came out. They didn't do anything. They didn't promote it. It came out. Nobody heard about it. The books went hot for a little bit, and now I don't know where they are. Albedo #2 is always going to be expensive because one, it's a kind of like a, it is a popular character for an indie, so that book is always going to be expensive. But all the other keys, what happens now? Because nobody promoted the show. How do you feel about prototype books? Doctor Doom, Tales of Suspense 31, Ant-Man TOC 32. It's tough to say. It has a value. It depends on the scarcity. Like, I just saw a video that Comic Tom put out about, he's got a Hellboy, like, original piece that was put out by, what's his face? The creator. What's his name? It starts with an M. The name is escaping right now, but he's got like a, it's almost like a prototype of basically that character Hellboy that he's got. Like, this, no one's ever seen another copy of this book. So are they valuable? Absolutely. Are they worth buying? Absolutely. But to put prices on them, unless you have recent sales, is almost impossible. But scarcity is a thing, man. So if you can come across things and they're scarce, yeah, they're definitely worth money. Do you think the 10 or 20 years the Silver's books will dry up and be extra rare? No, because what I think is people are still unearthing collections at this point, because you figure Fantastic Four #1 was 1961. So we're talking about 63 years later. Someone who's 63 who had this book for 63 years, let's say they collected them when they were up to like 13, 14, 15 years old. They're 78 now. So maybe they're still around. Maybe they're passing it down collections, stuff like that. So there's still stuff to be unearthed. But I think that the more that get dug up, the more that go around. The popular characters will always go up in value, but all other books outside of that, they'll probably stay stagnant, maybe go up a little bit. Not all books are created equally. They have to have demand behind them. So they won't be extra rare, but everybody's got to give up their books eventually. Nobody just hoards stuff forever and then just keeps it there forever and ever. They sell the stuff, so they come back around. Comico Primer 2 is an indie to be grabbed. I know Primer 2 is a book that was on Hot 10 a couple months ago, like for a couple of months straight, but not a book that I'm interested in. But listen to Omega, he knows his stuff. Mignola, thank you, Mike Mignola, thank you very much. Yes, I mean, something like that. I thought that was great. Like, I know Tom is a huge Hellboy fan, and something like that means something. Like, I don't know, like, you guys know that I'm an ASM fan, and I'm sure you guys. Let me show you this. All right. So Tom has his thing. And now this is not original art, but this is like Amazing Spider-Man, like Sunday dailies, like from this, I want to say in the 70s that were in the newspapers, and it's all of them that was ever printed. To me, this is just along those same lines. If you're a collector and you're looking for something that's like rare like that, like somebody took the time to do this. I didn't do it, and I saw it and I bought it, and I bought it for cheap, but that's something you're not going to see every day. Complete anyway. All right, so this is a great question because I love Beta Ray Bill, and I was expecting to see him, and we didn't, and it just everybody's just expecting, and then it never happens. So what's going to happen to the book? I think it's going to get crushed eventually. It's a great character, and they should have used him at some point in the Thor series, and now I think they missed their opportunity. So what does it do to the book? Being that the fact it's it's a copper modern book, it's right on that age of like being in between. I don't think it's gonna be worth that much. It's probably be like $100, $150 book, and that's where it's gonna stay. Thank you so much, Winnower. Listen, I love this thing. Like my good buddy Errol Molnar, if you guys don't follow him on Instagram, Errol Molnar is his name on there. He turned me on to them because he had some Superman dailies, and I was like, oh, let me try to look for that stuff. And then I saw somebody on eBay that actually collected these as a hobby. And he's got like, he gave me like a big note how he collected them his whole life. And he put the stuff together because it meant something to him. Like means something to me that he did that. So I had to buy it. And I paid $500 for this thing. And it's freaking awesome. Like I will pass this down to my kids eventually. The younger one is a big Spider-Man fan. Like you're never going to find this again. That's complete. Everything's there. It's put in a nice, binder. I mean, it's amazing. Ultra high grade Bronze Age horror comics. Again, something that I'm not too familiar with. Ultra grade, high end Bronze Age horror comics. Horror for me, it died in pre-code. Like all those things were great. I used to love some of the EC covers, some of the other covers. If you guys haven't watched my top 20 pre-code horror books, that's to me where it was. I mean, outside of like the DC stuff, horror comics, that was great. Some of the DC horror books are really awesome, but I don't think they're gonna worth any money, in my opinion. Outside of like first Swamp Thing, like I don't think most of them are worth anything, but they're great reads. I don't know what Tosin is. Somebody please explain what Tosin is. Do you think Beta Reveal could be the character Guardians introduced? Yeah, but I think it's possible, but how does he fit into the story? That's my thing. How does he fit with the Guardians of the Galaxy? Maybe with Thor? It's possible. Absolutely possible. I mean, that's a character that I think they'd probably introduce in the show like that instead of Silver Surfer. Like, it's a huge character. If they were gonna do that in the show, I'd be really surprised. But Beta Reveal, I definitely could happen. But I haven't heard anything about it. And usually, like all the stuff that we've heard so far, you get it like 6 months to a year in advance. We didn't hear anything. You're going to buy I Saw One Rippaverse. I got mine. It looks super interesting. I don't even know what that is, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have no idea what that is. Is that a modern book? ISOM Rippaverse. I know the ISOM probably stands for something, but I don't know what it is. But again, I don't buy too many modern books, guys. So keep that in mind. I'm strictly like bronze, silver mostly. I Golden Age really intrigues me because Golden Age is starting to get hot now. With everything else cooling off, people are looking for scarcity, and there's scarcity in the Golden Age, but you have to be very, very careful because not everything Golden Age is worth something. People really have to be looking for it. And I think a lot of people have a lot of Golden Age stuff that to me isn't really worth anything. They're cool books. Like it's a sign of the time back then, but to me, they're not really worth anything. Oh, okay. So new Black Panther 3. To me, there's only one Black Panther, and that's T'Challa. That's the way I look at it. I don't follow the new stuff. Even with the Shuri books, I even said on my channel, like, I wouldn't buy that book because even if she does become the new Black Panther, I don't think it's long term. If you guys heard a rumor, T'Challa and his wife are expecting a baby in the Black Panther 2. I have a feeling they're gonna move on from Shuri after maybe like the next movie, and then you'll see his son take on the mantle. That's my opinion, and we'll see what happens. 8 billion genies. It's a new universe, some legit comic. Oh, okay. I'm not familiar with it, but I'm sorry. Exactly, I agree with you. Golden Age, like if you can get a Golden Age cap, I would say stick to the war ones, right? The early cap, and they're a fortune though. Like they're almost impossible to find. If they are, they're a fortune. I would love to own a cap one, even if it's a .5 and it was complete. I would own it because I mean that book is like symbolic, right? Of this country, of the character. I would definitely trade some of my high-end books for that book if I could find one, but I don't think I ever will. Same with the Detective Comics 27. I am a big Batman fan, even though I don't talk much DC on the channel. But Monday is my top 10 DC Silver Age books I'd buy right now. So check that out Monday. A lot of Silver Age great ones on there, but I love Batman, and I wish I could own that book. Walking Dead number 9.8 long term. That's a tough thing because he ended that book abruptly. So I think before he did that, like that book was like gonna go, right? It could have kept going and kept going and kept going, but he ended that thing too short. And I think the show got crappy after the main character left. So it's kind of stagnant. Unless they do some type of revival or maybe like a movie down the road, I don't think it's a long-term hold. I know there's going to be fans of that show forever, fans of the comic forever, but what's pushing it forward is my next thing, right? That's the question I always answer myself when I buy books. What's going to keep pushing it forward? Registry Awards campaign. Did you participate or win any? Oh, you're talking about the comic book community awards. I think that was just the nominations. Have they announced the nominations yet? I don't think they announced the nominations. I don't even know if anybody nominated me. If you did, I appreciate it. But we'll find out who the nominations are, I guess, soon. I didn't hear anything. Unless they said something and I didn't hear about it. Schomburg covers, I agree. Like they're awesome. they're unbelievably awesome. That's part of the golden age. Like if you love a specific artist, like LB Cole, Schomburg, Frazetta, even some of the Frazetta pre-code horrors are awesome. Like to me, I would flock to those because I love the horror genre. Like when I was growing up, I was really into that stuff. If you like the book, in my opinion, no more ads. What I say, it's just hard to get growth going again if there's nothing pushing it. First 10 caps would be amazing, but I'm not a millionaire. But 8,000 is still a lot. Listen, I'm telling you right now, watch watch the video I put out on Tuesday. It's the top scarcest Marvel comics for the Grails, and you see how many copies of those are out there. And now we're talking 8,000 for Walking Dead. Somebody look up if you can how many Hulk 181s are out there. Is he coming back? I heard he was supposed to appear somewhere, and then they canceled the something. I don't know if it's a show or like he was supposed to appear at like the con last week. Something was along those lines. Long-term Punisher 218 second print. Somebody just asked that. I'm not a huge second print guy. I've never been a second print guy. I've never been a variant guy. To me, I always want to own the first print. Yeah, I know the second prints are scarcer, but to me, I'm just not that guy. I think if you get a modern book and it's a 9.8, you're okay. You're okay no matter what you do because I think you'll always get your money out of it for the most part as long as you don't overspend. But any type of, any outside of like to me, like the early run of the Punisher, or any type of early run, I try to stay away from unless it's ASM because it's such a hugely, and I will say X-Men too is another one. ASM or X-Men, it's such a people read those stories till no end, and like they read them through like the 700s on ASM. The X-Men's what they keep reading them because they're good stories. They resonate with the characters. Whereas some of the other ones, they kind of get left behind. I think the Punisher, when it got to that point, to me, it was kind of done as well. I was thinking pick up Tales of Suspense number 40 or 41. Is 41 the first yellow suit? I know 40 is the second appearance, but it's a 41 the first yellow. I almost think I want to own that first yellow over the second appearance, but I got to see what they cost. If you can get a good deal on them, I want to own them. You guys know my motto on second appearances is that I don't want to overspend. If you can get a good deal and it's cheap enough, yes. But if you have to spend $1,000 for that, I got to be honest, I'm probably not doing it because I could take $1,000 and I can almost buy an FF48 right now. I can almost buy, Marvel Spotlight 5 or ASM 129. Granted, they'd be mid grade, but I'm okay with that because there's more meat left on the bone. Whereas a 40 or 41 Tales of Suspense was pushing that book forward. It's a great key. I want them, but if you bought those other books first and you made some money on it, sell it and then buy the 40 and 41 if you want it. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I collect. So I'm going to outside if it's a book that I want, like if you want it and that's your character and you can't get a 39 and you just want the book, then yeah, get it because that's what this is about. It's getting what you want. So if that's what you want, go for it. If you're saying from like an investment thing, go for something else, flip it, and then wait for that to go up and then get it to 40, 41 because I don't see that book going up tremendous amount like these other ones can. Me and my dad really like your show. When me gets older, I will take care of his comic books. And my name is Sky Mariju. Thank you so much, Sky. I really appreciate that. That makes me so happy. I have a 10-year-old and a 14-year-old. The 14-year-old doesn't care about comics, but the younger one loves them. So thank you so much. That makes me happy to see you guys watch the show together. That's the 40, 41. I already went over it. But yeah, listen, if you want it, you want the book, buy it. If you want it, if you're doing it for an investment, buy something else, wait for that to come to fruition, and then buy the 40, 41 if you want it for the collection. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry at all. You kidding me? I love you guys. Found second and third appearance of Iron Man for an affordable price. If it's an affordable price, then yes, do it. 100%. Like I always say, and it's funny because I'll see if I can show you guys a picture of this. I had somebody message me and said, because I was thinking about new, like my quotes, and you can see if this is friends don't let friends overpay for second appearances. There you go. If you don't overpay for them and you get them for under book value and they're good deals, then get them. You know what, dude? Ray, I'm hoping it does because I want to add another copy and I want a nice raw copy, but the book just doesn't stop, man. It doesn't stop. Let me tell you, like 3 or 4 years ago, I picked up my copy, and it's a .5. Everybody knows it's missing the back cover. And I paid $2,200 for it back then. And like a couple years later, I saw one that's complete, looked nice for 5,000. I'm like, oh, that's too much money. Same book is like $13,000 now. So it's just, I don't know if it's ever going to come down. I really don't. I wish it would, but that's one of the best to buy. I think that's a good price, but you know what grade it is, Doom? If you which book for under $400, or are they both under 400? Let me know about the grade. If you can tell me the grade, I'll look it up for you. There's a lot of people looking for this book, Tales of Thomas 44, First Boss, but why? What's pushing the book forward? This is going to be it, I think, for her. I know. A lot of the second appearances have low print runs, but I'm just not a second. You love the Punisher? Do you have a 129, Nick? So you got a CGC 218? Or of the yeah, or of the 129. 218, like I said, I'm not a second appearance. I'm not a second print guy. So if I'm going to take that money, I'm rolling it into an ASM 129. I want the first appearance. But even the second appearance of the Punisher, it's cheap book. Like I bought mine for $120. Actually, I had a follower on the channel message me and said his LCS has one, and he picked it up for me, mailed it to me, and I sent him the money. That's how we should all do this, right? Anybody has books that somebody's looking for, post a list. If we all follow each other on Instagram, post a list of what you're looking for. And any of our LCSs get it. We message each other and say, hey, my LCS has this. Do you want it? If he does, pick it up, ship it to him, and he'll pay you the money. Like that. That's a great service. So yeah, Doom, if you want the book, buy the book. That's the way I look at it, man. If you love early Iron Man, then don't worry about the price. That's the way I look. As long as you're not overpaying for it, buy it. You want it, buy it. Like I would do that for an Amazing Spider-Man book because I love Spider-Man. So just do it. Absolutely, man. That's the whole key to things. It's like the kids got to keep it going. So like some kids are, some kids aren't into these things. The movies are helping, right? The movies are helping getting the kids into the comics. Invincible Iron Man #1 is cheap. It was on the hot 10 list, and it was a low grade copy for $150. I have one. I think mine's a 4.0, 4.5. You don't have to get a high grade. I always say 4.0 in Silver Age books is like a really, if you can get one for a cheap 4.0, it's worth it. I'm probably going to say it's probably around $400. It's not too bad. No, I don't even think it's gonna, dude. It's like Spider-Man books are AF-15 is pulling back a little bit, but I can't even see it going down. Depending on this deal I pulled a couple weeks ago, FF52 3.0 for 250. Oh, plus 250 for a 4.0 off white. Let's look and see what the prices are. I'll tell you right now if it's a good deal. I want to also say this, guys. I know we talk a lot about price on this channel, but if you're happy, that's all that matters, right? If you feel comfortable doing something, like that's all that matters. So a 3.0 FF52 right now, the last sale was $650. Okay. So the 4.0 last sale was $940. So I would say, yeah, 650 plus 250 is 800, is $900. So you made out by $50. So yeah, you did good. You did good. All right, so let's check it out. I'm gonna go with the is it the 40 Doom or the 41? That's the 2.0. Answer me and I'll look it up for you. There you go. That is a nice key. I have 2 copies right now, and I'm looking for another one because, again, the characters that are coming are all these Bronze Age characters. For me, the Bronze Age is Hulk 181, Spotlight 5, ASM 129, and what's the other one? Forgetting one. What am I forgetting? There's another one. 180, 181, 129, Marvel Spotlight 5. What's the other one? I'm forgetting one. I'm forgetting one. It's slipping my mind. Yeah, 135 is like I said, $120 right now. ASM 160 CGC 9.0, 6 by Punisher 2EC, number 2 figure for 450. Listen, if you have the 129, that's the money bucket in a 9.0. I would say it's probably, off the top of my head, it's probably $4,500 or more, $5,000 maybe. Yeah, so listen, if you have both, you can't complain. I love getting Hulk run Tales to Astonish. Listen, I agree with you. Tales to Astonish, the brown cover with the Hulk on one side. I forgot it was the other one. It's one of my favorite covers of all time. King Kirby at his best. That's one of the first books I picked up when I got back to collecting. I love that book. And they're all really cheap. Buy What You Love is 100% right. Star Wars 1. Listen, that book got hot like a year ago, and it went out of control, and now it's back down. But yes, if you're a Star Wars fan, you have to own Star Wars #1. A good friend of mine from college just picked one up. We got a good deal on it. Giant Says X-Men 1 is another one. That's it. Giant Says X-Men 1. That was the book I was thinking of. That's the other one from the Bronze Age. Thank you. FHF 1. What is that? Or what am I losing here? HFH 1. I'll give you both. Yes, GSX. You're right. I think so too. I think the She-Hulk series is going to be great, and everybody's hating on all this stuff because they see that CGI is not that great. But I have a feeling it's really going to be fun and funny, and I'm really looking forward to. Even though I'm not a She-Hulk fan, but I think it's going to be something that like we're not expecting from Marvel anyway. Like who I think would fit in that show is Deadpool, and I would love to see a Deadpool cameo in that show. You're taking Hulk Woody for that book is still cheap enough that you can get it for a decent price. So yes, I'd buy it, but tell me how he fits in the MCU now. That's my thing. With the Hulk series kind of dying down, where does that fit? But yes, it's still cheap enough where I would buy it. I do think show up at some point in a cameo or some type of small role. Oh, I'm going the wrong way here. FF5055. Why am I drawing a blank on that? FF50. 50 is the brown cover. Yes. So like I like the cover. If people hate on that cover so much, I'd rather have the 48 or 49, but the third one's not that bad. If I'm spending the money now on an FF50, I'd rather put it to one of the other ones. That's my opinion. If you already own one, then yes, when the silver comes, I would sell it. But if you're looking to buy one, I'd probably buy 48 or 49 first. What's 55? Oh, that's the classic thing cover. I always love that cover. One of my favorites. And usually you could get it for a good deal too. I love the covers. The classic covers on both of them. So I think they're good buys no matter what. But if you're going to buy both of them, I'd rather buy a 48 right now because it's so much cheaper. Here for Hire #1. I love the book. It never goes up in price. It's like Avengers 1. It's undervalued by far, but it never goes up in value. So I'm waiting. But there's certain books that just don't go up. Like Avengers 1, Hero for Hire 1. There's a couple other ones that it's like, when are they going to move for these great keys? And they never do. Yeah, I hear you. Man. Dude, I found Fantastic Four 205 first bits of Nova Corps and was stoked, and the dude tried to charge me $50 for it because he said Nova is coming out. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens, man. I wouldn't buy any Nova books, to be honest with you. I just think there's all the speculation that he's going to come, they're going to do him, and then they never shows up, and then what? Then you're stuck with a book that doesn't go anywhere. If you're a Nova fan and you want it, yes. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's tough. I'm lucky enough where I live in an area where I have 2 good LCSs, one right in my hometown and the one like 30 minutes away, and I'm very friendly with both of them, so they do a good job. But that's why I think if you guys are on Instagram, like message me and you guys want looking for books, or if I'm looking for something, post a list or send me a list. If I find anything, I'll send you. Say, hey, they have it. If you're interested, I'll mail it to you. I think that's a great idea. You know what? Wait for my Silver Age DC pickups book. That's coming out Monday. So if you can wait till Monday, I answer that question. But you can't go wrong with either one. The 3.0 Daredevil is about $3,800 if I'm averaging the prices between a 2.0 and a 4.0. So I probably around there. I think Marvel is just they put out a better product. So I think the Daredevil 1 is a better buy right now. But if they ever do anything right with Green Lantern, that book is going to go nuts. I still think it's way undervalued. So definitely a book I would buy. I know. Listen, it's tough. If I find it for cheap, I'll message you. Well, that I just bought? You mean that I wanted or wanted but didn't pull the trigger on it and regret? I guess that one from a couple years ago I regret because that pissed me off. Like when I see it for 5 grand and then like a year later I see it for 13 grand, like that annoys me. Um, that's it. That's it. I mean, there's always books that you're like, oh, if you're not 100% sure, then don't do it. Like if there's something in your gut saying, well, I don't, maybe, maybe not. Or sometimes you need to just take a chance. Like if you guys watch my video on the Tailspin 39, like I needed to take a chance on that book. How many times are you going to find a TOS 39 raw? It's never. So when I got it for the price I did, I put in my max scout like right before like it closed, and I'm like, you know what? Let me try, and I got it. Um, will I live to regret it? I doubt it. But sometimes you got to go for it. But sometimes if there's like trepidation, listen to your gut. Got two Heroes Rider number one. CG Sound made his cover signed by New York Comics some years ago. The Long Island Boys were hooking it up back then when Big John and Stan the Man. I know, dude. Great book. John Romita, you guys know, is my favorite. Absolute favorite. There are more 4x Daredevils in Showcase 22. Go more rare. See, that's the scarce collector talking. But what I will say is this, is that Marvel's putting out good stuff. Marvel books are appreciating faster than DC books. So you can look at it from two angles. He's 100% right. It is more rare. Watch my video on Monday. But for me, being a Marvel fan, not a Green Lantern fan, are you a more fan of a Green Lantern or Daredevil? That's my answer. That's what I would do. If you're just looking for money, I think Daredevil wants it to go up faster, but Showcase 22, if they ever do something right, that book could double overnight. How much did it go for? How much did the AF-51 go for? Because I just got mine. I paid $120 for it, and I thought that was a great deal. What's up, Dan? How you doing, buddy? Glad for popping in. It's 8:13, so I'm going to stay on until 8:30, and then I'm going to go. So get whatever questions you have in before the night is over. Yeah, I mean, that's the way to do it. Like, that's absolutely the way to do it. If anybody wants to get in on that, or like they go to their LCS regularly and is looking for stuff, message me on Instagram, Lawrence_the_MCG. Just message me, hey, I want to be a part of it. Hey, I want to be a part of it. What I could do is I could add everybody to like a group message, and then we could all post our lists. And if we post our lists, like, don't put like a $10,000 book on that list, because obviously that's, no one can go out, oh, hey, they have 10,000, I want to buy it for you type of thing. But if you do that, like if anybody wants to be a part of that, message me, and then we can kind of get like a list going. I'll put everybody into a group message and we can kind of work on that. I think it was. Hopefully it is, but I think it was. Thank you though. Let me tell you a great thing about this book. You ready? I was at a con 2 years ago, and somebody had that book for $5. That Doctor Doom issue 20, $5. And I was so pissed. It was a big line, so I didn't want to wait in the line to see the book. So I'm like, you know what? Forget it. And now look where that book is at. That if you just asked me about a book that I regret not buying for $5, that will be one of them. But it's a book now, a Doctor Doom book that people will flock to if they can't get the ASM 5 or they can't get the annual one. Oh, that is really cheap. I definitely would have picked that up. I think mine was like a 354. I paid 120 for it. So that's definitely a steal. Oh, you don't have IG? Gotta sign up. It's free. Even if you don't have to put a picture, just put your name, Nick. Don't put a picture and just message me. I mean, it's just hard to kind of manage from outside of that, because then it gets kind of tough messaging everybody. Ah, I gotcha. So put your I'm not advocating for this, but think of a name like comic book Nick or something like that. Like just comic book stuff. Well, you could just message me. If I find something, I'll send you something that you're looking for. That's fine. It's fun when it's a group, because then it's like, now we could find some stuff, right? Then we can go out and say, all right, we got some stuff going. I got like 20 guys looking for books. And that's like, you figure that's 20-fold. So like if I got 20 guys or gals in there, I should say, in the thing, and we're all looking for books for each other, think how much easier it's going to be. And we're not doing eBay. We're just doing LCS or shows. So that's a great idea if anybody's interested. It's like almost having like Elite Comics 11, but just for like a group, and say, oh, I got this. You want it? Yes. Like he hooked me up. I forgot his name, and he did such a solid by picking that book up for me, because I was looking forever for a good copy, and they had it, and he hooked me up. Oh, so I never heard from Doom back, so I'm gonna just give him a price on this TOS 40 and 41. And like I tell you, I am enjoying these live streams on Friday night. I can't do them all the time, but I'm thinking maybe doing them once a month. So if you guys are interested and just we'll kind of talk, I may have some guys on next time. I know I've done a couple with a couple of guys and we talk about stuff, but I kind of like to answer questions and stuff. Maybe I could have like a couple of different people on each time I do it. So a 2.0. Oh, wait, I'm on the 39. I was going to say, whoa, that's expensive. All right. So the 2.0 on the 40 is $625, but the sale was in January. So if you're telling me you can pick it up for 400 or under, yes, I think that's a good deal. Or the 40. Let's go to the 41 because I wasn't sure which one we were talking about. And confirm to me that the 41 is the first gold armor. If that's the case, then that's a book I want. So the last 2.0 on a 41 was back in November 2020. So, but for 3.0 was 345. So definitely not if it's the 41. If it's the 40, then yes, that's a good price to get for that book. So this is a great question because I have one statue in my collection, one big statue, and that's a video I'm actually going to be putting out because I don't get a lot of views when I do my statue stuff because most people want to talk comics. But I have the Venom Spider-Man maquette that I actually got from Gem In. He sold it to me. So it thing is awesome. I have a video on it if you guys want to check it out. Even the video, it's not that great because I had to shoot it from far away because the thing was heavy, but it's beautiful. I love them. They're just a lot of money. I would own all of them if I could because they're beautiful. Gem does a great job of breaking them down, going through the piece by piece, giving you great looks at this stuff. I love them. I want to own them. There is a Hulk coming out by Legendary Beast Studios. I want it. I want the gray Hulk, the Jack Kirby style. When that pre-order comes up, I'm pre-ordering that. I don't give a shit what it costs because I love the Hulk. Spider-Man, which I have now with Venom, the Hulk, Punisher, and Batman. So if I could get one from Doctor Doom, I would love that too because that would go great with my book. Nice. Enjoy. Have a great night, PlayStation 5 night. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, Sean. There you go. He's looking for books right now. Anybody out there? Tales for Astonished 44. This is another great question. What's the lowest grade you purchase of a Grail Blue Label? Would you buy a 1.0? Would you buy a 2.5? It's attached cover. Does any tape bother you? So that's a great question. So I own it actually, even though I bought the book for Journey into Mystery 83. I'll show it to you guys one time. It's in the case back there. I'm not going to go pull it out, but it looks great for a 1.0. And that's the whole thing. I don't care what the grade is. If it's complete, if it's blue label, if it presents well, I'm a buyer. I have a Hulk 1 that has tape on the top right-hand corner. And that's actually pending sale. I have another Hulk 1 that has no tape on it. I have a Tales of Suspense 39 2.0 where the cover's detached, but it's a CGC case and you can't tell the book is detached. So yes, I would buy it depending on the book. You got to think, I think about it like this. That's the first question I always ask myself when I buy a big book is, how can I sell that book easily? So I know there are collectors out there that don't want these things in a book. I get it. But if you're buying a big book and all the books I just mentioned are big books, they're like they're 5-figure books. There's always going to be collectors out there that can spend that type of money as opposed to the $20,000-$30,000 these other books cost. So there's always more collectors on the lower end, in my opinion. So I always buy them. The presentation is key. If they present well and they look great, yes, I'm a buyer, 100%. As long as they're complete and no resto. That's the two things that I stay away from: restoration and complete. I know my Spider-Man 1 is incomplete, but it looks like a 4.0, and it's my only incomplete book in my collection. It's a 0.5 blue label. So, but I was okay with that considering I have an AF-15. So again, I would like to get another one, but we'll see down the road what it is. But yes, I'm okay. Presentation is everything though. But don't, like, if a 2.0 with nothing on it sells for one price and you're going to buy a 2.0 with tape on it, presents nice, but they're asking the same price, then I wouldn't buy it, right? You got to get a deal because it has a flaw on it. So that's what I'm looking for. And most dealers, I think, do that. They give you a little bit. This book has this on it, maybe harder to sell. So I give you a little bit of break. I lower the price. That's where you may get a deal on a book like that. So yes, I would, in a short answer. Yeah, like I said, complete, I'm buying it. How often can you get a book like this? It all depends what your budget is, right? If your budget's you can get a better grade, then buy the better grade. But can you turn around and sell a Journey into Mystery 5.0 for like quickly? How quick do you think I could sell a 1.0? I bet I could sell it within a week because the 1.0 is probably worth about $6,000. So I think the lower end collector who can afford that type of book is going to buy that rather quickly because it does present nice. Whereas a 5.0, I'm going to say is probably 20 plus thousand. That may take a while to sell. It's tough. I actually just messaged somebody on Instagram that got it's a dealer that got a bunch of raw books in an ASM 1, GM83, GM85, and a bunch of ASM raws. I messaged them to see if they're willing to sell raw, and they said yes. So they just got to grade it and do whatever. But there's a lot of people contacting them. So, night, bud. Thanks for joining us. I had one previous and always had regretted. I had saying when I saw my did it 9.0. I couldn't imagine what that book is worth right now. Wow. I have regrets too, man. I had a Hulk 181 7.5, and like I sold it right before that book took off, and it literally doubled overnight. So I regret that selling that one. Yeah, I agree. Missing pieces, missing labels, missing pages, missing cutouts. I don't buy that stuff either. Incomplete is incomplete. If it's a blue label, to me, if it's a missing pieces, I should have clarified myself. Incomplete is incomplete, no matter what the label is. Cover detached, I'm okay as long as it presents well in a slab. Even if it's a raw book, if it's cover detached and it's Tales Spence 39 and it looks great, I'm buying it. Like there was one that was beat to hell, cover was detached. I thought about it, but I'm like, you know what? I'll stay away. I'll wait for another better copy. It's what you're comfortable with. Missing pieces is an issue for me though. I get why they're doing it. Like, no one wants to see the incomplete thing on their book. I do think they should leave the notes. I don't know what their plan is, but they have to kind of give everybody information. It doesn't have to say incomplete as long as it says missing something. If it says the book and then missing whatever, it doesn't have to say incomplete. You just say missing whatever. Okay. It still says missing whatever. We're okay. If it says nothing and it's missing something, that's a problem, right? I can't see them doing that. It would be too much. It would be too much. People would be outraged if that happened. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll end up having that stuff on the case. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes. Any more questions? We still got 23 people in here. This is probably the biggest live stream we've had so far, so this makes me happy. Glad some people out there are enjoying some of my content, and I definitely love this Q&A thing. I tell you guys, I tried to get some of the big boys onto the channel with me a couple of weeks back. Nerdy Girl, Swaggle, couple of other guys, big boys. I could draw some blanks here, but I had a couple of guys set to come on, and then it was the weekend right before SDCC, so a lot of them had other stuff going on, so we ended up putting it on the back burner. But I'm hopeful to get them on, and we can kind of do the same thing. So you can kind of have my perspective. I'm a collector. You can have a dealer's perspective. You can have other collectors, YouTubers, their perspective, all kind of in one place, so they can give you kind of their opinion at the same time. Because I think that's invaluable. When you have someone who does YouTube like me, but I'm a collector at the same time, I think that opinion is one thing. And then you have a dealer, they may give you something, a little bit of other information. So everybody collects different ways. So this is just how I do it. Doesn't mean how anyone else do it is wrong. It just means that this is how I do it. They do it their way and it makes them happy. And that's all that matters, right? I know I give a lot of opinions on my channel, but at the same time, it's just, that's what it is. It's opinion. At the end of the day, I have attachment to these characters, to these comics. I do try to make money off time at times, but I also got in at the right time. So now I'm just kind of looking for deals and stuff I can move. But the stuff that I have that I want, I pretty much have outside of like Golden Age Grails, which I'm never going to get, right? So purple label, no. Unless you plan on having it removed. So I've been trying to look for a Strange Tales 110 forever, and the movie was coming out, and the book started to catch heat, and it didn't go up. We talked before about books that never go up. This is one of them. Avengers 1, Strange Tales 110, Hero for Hire 1. They're undervalued books. Doctor Strange is a huge character, and the book doesn't go up. So right now I've cooled on that book. It's not getting the love that it should get. It's not getting the price increase it should get. With that said, I'm not buying a purple label unless you're planning on having the restoration removed. Like if you're going to use hero restoration, I heard they're great at that stuff. If you want to do that, then it might be worth it. So outside of that, so is that the only restoration though? Is the glue? I have my Avengers one has a small amount of glue, like a dot of glue somewhere, like on the cover. It's not even on the spine. It's like somebody dropped something on the cover, and it's mine's a blue label. So that's I would love to have Alex on, man. Alex is one of my favorite guys on YouTube. He's finally doing some more videos, which I'm glad to see. He took like a break for a while. He only do the video once in a blue moon. Now he's coming out with like books he would buy right now, which is great. I love seeing him on. I would love to meet him in person and finally talk to him, but hopefully I'll get that chance one day. She gets some of the statue guys on like Maiden Mike. So I'm not familiar with him, so I might have to look him up. I would love it. I love the statues. I would love to have Jimin on. Let's be honest, right? Like I asked him like point blank through Instagram, "Are you coming to New York Comic Con?" Because I'm going, and I haven't been there since the first New York Comic Con, so I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him there. Love to get his input, stuff like that, and just meet him and his wife and so on and so forth. But I gotta check out Maiden Mike because I do love the statues. It's tough to spend that kind of money on a ton of stuff. I'll own a couple, but that's where it'll end. Yeah, dude, I love pre-code art, man. I used to have so many of them, but I sold a lot of them because I found the fact that they didn't appreciate as quickly. When all these other books were going up, like when the MC, like maybe 2 years ago when the market really took off, I said, "Wow, why aren't the pre-code horrors kind of going with it?" So I sold them off so I could put the money to other books. So I knew when I could sell those other books, I could probably buy the pre-codes back again because while I love the genre, they don't go up in value as much as they should. And I've had Tomb of Terror 15, which is a classic horror book. I've had Black Hat Mystery 50 in my collection, another horror book, but they don't increase in value quickly. I will say that, opposed to like the Marvel books. If that's the only restoration is glue, have it removed. If you get it for a good price, have it removed and then get a blue label. Absolutely. But again, you got to be careful because Strange Tales 110, it doesn't go up. I love the book, but it's just crazy. Dude, Ben, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. I really appreciate that. You're gonna get 3 to 5 comics a month from me that I think that should be bought right now. A couple other guys that I sent it out to, I think they've been pretty happy. They've been members for quite a long time. Appreciate that. And also, you get access to my videos early. So um, I don't know if my DC book, if I might have converted that already till Monday because it's been up for a bit, but I'll convert the other one probably tomorrow or so, and you can check that one out. I bought a D7 from Gemmett years ago. There you go. You probably picked it up for cheap. I got to check him out. Definitely, Nick. Thank you for letting me know. I got to check him out. I'm really looking forward to that legendary beast statue because that thing, if you guys haven't checked it out and you guys love Hulk, the thing is like 3 feet high. It's like this. So my desk is right where my hand is. This thing is like up to here. It is freaking awesome. I was like, holy crap. I have to buy this thing. It's just going to look awesome next to my Hulk one. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, really? I've been following Jem since the beginning. Like he does a great job in his channel, just talking. Like even when he used to do live streams back in the day with Milton Manimal, I don't know what happened, why they split up, but like I used to love watching him. They used to talk about new books coming out. They used to talk about these CGC Spotlight where they talk about one book. I told that the last time I was live. I'm gonna bring that series back because I thought that was great. Maybe I'll try to see if he can come on and do the first one with me because that CGC Spotlight was awesome. We had like one book, talked about the one book for like 10 minutes, everything that happened in the book, the storyline, the characters, the first appearances. It was a great series. Like that needs to come back. Punch Comics 12 is another beautiful cover. That one's a pricey one though. That one is really expensive. Somebody I saw had that. I think Guru's got that. I know he's got a lot of Golden Age stuff, but that one I think he's got. I want to say he's got multiple copies of that. The Thor one is nice too. They have Cyclops one and they have a Magneto one. They're all awesome. But Hulk just that one that did something to me when they announced it. Yeah, I love XM Studios. I even like Sideshow. Even the smaller ones, like I can't pronounce this, but Kubota Kia. Like I have a couple of those smaller ones. Like those fit nice. Like I have a small Punisher statue here you guys can never see, but it's not anything big. I would love a giant one, but Punisher statues are hard because there's a couple out there that I think there's one by Sideshow, but I don't like the way he looks. Might not be Sideshow. It's somebody makes it, but it was like he's too muscular. The Punisher's not that muscular. Let's see if I could grab this without breaking it. Like, okay, I just ripped off the stand, but so like this to me is Frank Castle. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would love a John Bernthal one, like a big one, but I don't think they're going to do that anytime soon. All right, guys, it's 8:30. I've been on for an hour and a half. I want to thank everybody out there in the community for joining me for this thing. This was awesome tonight. This kind of exceeded my expectations. Everybody out there kind of dropping a lot of great questions. I hope I answered them for you. You guys know where to find me, Lawrence_the_MCG on Instagram, or my email is in every description of my video. So if you guys want to contact me, email me there. There's also my website, mightycollects.com. You could always send me an email through there as well. Really appreciate everybody hanging out with me for tonight. Sideshow Punisher is probably the best. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Those are tough to come by. Thank you, guys, everybody. Thank you for joining. I will talk to you guys soon. Like always, I'm on vacation this week, so you will be hearing from me sparingly, but I got 2 videos dropping. And while I'm on vacation, I'll bring you the Hot 10 like I always do. Maybe a live edition, but it's coming. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys so much. Night.